What's up, friends? Today we're checking out the 1975 with their new album, Being Funny in a Foreign Language. Jack Antonoff is doing the production on this work, which is interesting. I think it's a good fit. I think their sounds could meld together in a nice way, so I'm excited to see what's made. I've been excited for this album ever since I checked out I'm in Love with You, because I think that song is great. Let's get into the album. First track, the 1975.
Heard it's on vogue to be super thin, but your friends aren't thick, so they can't.
I love the pianos, you know, like the rhythm is so different, but it still kind of fits in the pocket in a nice way. Also, when those strings come in with just those random notes, it's sick.
Whimsical, political, liberal.
I really like when they build in with those drums during the choruses. It just adds a nice energy, like starts making it pulse where the rhythm before could seem discordant. Yeah, nice, weird instrumental ending. Very jazzy in a nice way. I dug that song. I think it's a great intro song. It has a lot of, pent up energy, but it still has some weird, interesting, artistic, instrumental stuff going on. It like fits within like your classic pop formula in terms of just development, with just like these instruments slowly developing and getting bigger for the choruses. But then it does things that are just very strange for that environment as well. The rhythms become more solid as the song goes on, and then this ending has all this color and all these echoey lyrics. I like piano-driven stuff too. Probably my favorite, the 1975 song by the 1975. Next song is Happiness. I love the syncopated rhythms coming out of the electric guitar and bass while the drums are just playing this very basic 4-on-the-floor beat. Very disco. The way those wind chimes introduce the chorus is just so pretty. It's such a great decision. I love like that high end coming into it. Yeah, it's so cool. Really letting those instrumentals shine on this song. Just jamming away. Such great melodies coming out of those instrumentals too. Cool song. I really enjoyed that one. I loved how funky it was, Just all those syncopated rhythms added so much. There was so much going on great in the instrumental. I love the chimes leading into the choruses. We did a similar thing with that high-end chime sound leading into choruses on our song Gonna Make It with Jack Jack. Yeah, it gave me real Nile Rodgers vibe, especially just those bass lines. It seemed like they fit right in with that, funky disco vibe. Also love the stacked vocals, very 1975. Nice harmonies, very crisp, pristine, but also had this big energy and this freeness to them. It's crazy how that fits together. Normally you wouldn't expect something to sound so pristine, but also to sound free and fun. But they really nailed that with the vocal layering there. Maybe it's the amount of reverb they have on it, because they're like placed just so immaculately. So I think it's probably that's making them have a bit of a gang vocal vibe. Real catchy vocals too. The, show me your love, why don't you? I mean, I'm surprised they didn't call the song Show Me Your Love, because it's such a catchy hook and it's such a great line. Looking for Somebody to Love is next up. I love that keyboard progression, that rhythm is the central hook to the chorus. Really cool. Really nice placement for that. Just, it's smart to have a riff be a chorus. I love when bands do that. Somebody lying on the field, somebody crying. I love that bridge. Just slowly building in, starting with that bass line, vocals, claps, and hi-hat, and then adding in those trumpets, those horns, that synth line. So cool. Yeah, that's so fresh. That's such a fresh, good sound. I'm a fan of that one. That one's cool. Just so energetic, so moving. I loved that keyboard line, the dum, 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 looking for somebody to love. I also thought that section where they got real wet with those vocals, you know, really reverby. It was post like second chorus, I think, going into that kind of bridge section, and it just felt so discordant, and there was this rhythmic dissonance and chaos from the fact that those vocals were so reverby, and then that guitar line was really reverby too. Just created this cacophony, this atmosphere that was cool. And then it just all faded away and you had that bass line. Just a real nice transition, really abrupt. And I like when songs can be abrupt, when they surprise me like that. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Pretty please. Part of the band is next up.
I was living my best life, living my parents' way before the pain penance.
Sick arrangement. Just love this Baroque pop feel. It sounds like a tuba or a trombone on the bass there. It's so cool.
Vaccinista, toe bag chic baristas, sitting east on the commune.
Those string clicks that go back and forth are so cool. Really dig that. Just a fun back and forth it's having with the panning.
Worst inside of us begins the feeling of
That transition from those orchestral vibes into that folksy chorus is so cool, and those fit together so well. It doesn't seem like something that should fit together, but it just works, you know? And it has this like nice folksy early Bon Iver vibe in those choruses, but those verses are so distinct with their Baroque pop sentiment. Super cool. Nice storytelling too in the lyrics. Oh Caroline is next up.
getting cupped, don't need it. The place I want to be.
This second verse with that piano just taking off, those piano licks are so sick. It's just such a good build. It's so emotional. It's cool, but still moving.
Just give me one more chance tonight. I don't wanna waste my life without you.
Those background vocals on the bridge are so cool. They're so smooth sounding. Love it. Great vocal production on this whole song. Like, I know the last Bleachers record was real organic, and so, and also the latest Lord album was very organic, so it makes sense that, you know, Jack Antonoff would do something organic in that sense, but he is known for doing more synth-based, more electronic sounding music. And the 1975 is also known for doing some more electronic sounding music. So it's so cool to see that when they come together, they do something organic. It's so unexpected. And I really dig it. Like, this is great music. This A-side has just been phenomenal. I'm so impressed. I feel like 1975's always been a band for me where there's like one or two songs that I really like per album. But this whole thing is just banger after banger. A lot of great music. I'm in Love with You's next up. It's so interesting hearing this song in the context of the album because it's so much more simple than everything else. You know, instrumentally, it's a lot more basic, really guitar focused. I love when there's so much instrumental diversity that you hear certain instruments just like one time, like that tambourine in the second verse. What's it doing? It's just there real quick and then it's gone. And then it gets replaced by acoustic guitars the next time for that riff in the same groove. It's so interesting. There's so much to like about that song. There's such a great emotion that's been captured in that song. This kind of like realization of being in love with someone and confessing it to them. I think it's so interesting that that chorus is so simple. You know, you're just staying on one note, but what makes that note change with that one note melody is the guitar riff, because the guitar riff underneath it is changing notes. So that I kind of has a new harmonic color to it every time it repeats because everything underneath it's changing. You've also got those arpeggiated synth lines that are just running, and they add this different color to that chorus as well. Yeah, I find one note melody so fascinating in terms of just how it affects the harmonic structure. I've done a full reaction to that song. I'll have a link to it at the end of the video. All I Need to Hear is next up.
I hand out my records.
It's interesting because even before starting this song, I thought, man, they haven't done kind of a slow, moody song yet. So I wouldn't be surprised if the next song was slow and moody. I should have said it. But yeah, I'm not surprised at all. This makes sense. It's appropriate for the 7th track, especially after such a big single.
Tell me you love me, 'cause that's all I need to hear.
I love that we're following up a song about being in love with someone else with a song about saying, you know, all I need from you is to know that you love me too. It's just a nice kind of call and response, nice exchange that you feel like there's a conversation going on within this music.
Out of my mess.
Cool song. Nice bluesy vibe. I liked the bridge a lot. I liked the emotion coming out of there. I almost wish the bridge would have been the chorus because it was so emotional, it was so good. It kind of helped the song reach its emotional climax with that, you know, pick up my messages, pick up my calls, you know, I wrote you a letter. It just was so visual and it felt so heartfelt. And I like how it was still had this understanding edge to it too. Like, yeah, I know that you're insecure about stuff, and kind of giving that as the reason the ghosting is going on. Because I feel like with the messaging of that song, you could see how it could go into a toxic route, but they kept it from going there and made it more sweet and sincere. Wintering is next up.
Said his official friend died 'cause of officiate.
I really like how they're having this ascending melody kind of repeat throughout the whole song in new context with these fast speaking lyrics on top of it. It's cool. This dun, 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 dun.
I just came for the stuff and not to argue about nothing but my words. I'll be home on the 20th.
Great album construction with that song because it starts in this kind of more stripped down way. You know, it's not this big bombastic song right from the get-go. We've come from this moodier, slower, vibier tone. And so when we come into this, we can't just like hit them too hard. Instead, we have to build them back up, you know, give this restorative feeling to the album. We've let the energy die down and now we have to build it back. Great instrumental progression. I loved how they had kind of a theme going throughout the whole song with that descent. I also liked how the vocals kind of ran on top of it, very folksy sounding. I don't know why it's called Wintering. I feel like these guys are following, you know, this old emo standard in terms of names of songs. They're not going for, you know, the part of the song that you can remember. They're going for just fun words and things that envelop the concept but don't necessarily come directly from the lyrics, which is cool. I mean, that's a vibe for sure. Reminds me of the, 2000s. Before Spotify and Apple Music and everything. Next song is called Human 2.
Oh, don't you know that I'm a human too?
I like the construction of that melody that chorus melody, how you have this, you know, legato phrase, I'm human too. Just real quick too, real staccato. I like that contrast there. Sets up a nice hook.
Don't you know that I'm a human too?
I really like how this moves once they have those drums pick up a little more and they take off a few of the atmospheric elements. It actually starts to move in a nice way.
Tell me you're human.
So this just probably isn't the 1975 vibe to do this, but I would have loved to see this song get like bigger and bigger and turn into this like big bombastic gospel choir type thing, maybe like you'd expect from Everyday Life, or kind of like what we did with I'm Gonna Make It with Jack Jack. You know, like just get big and explosive and exciting. It's still cool what they did. Like it still sounds great. Yeah, I could just see it going that way because I feel like it would have made that chorus feel so much more like widely applicable if you have these big stacked vocals singing on top of it. Interesting choice on the keyboard. I think that might be something that gave me that gospel choir thing because that sounds like a very gospel digital piano. Very like 90s R&B too. About You is next up.
Don't
It's interesting to hear Healy sing in his lower register. It's not as common for him, so it's a nice touch. Kind of surprises you in this album because you've been hearing these higher vocals from him the whole time. Very beautiful sounding. I'm surprised he doesn't sing more in this lower register. Nice tone. I was trying to figure out why he was singing at lower range, and then you get to the bridge and you realize that it's because there was a female vocalist coming in, and so you need that contrast of vocal ranges. All makes sense now. So I think that song is really beautiful. Like, that chorus is great. The verse melodies are cool. It's more vocally focused than probably anything else on the album. I'm really curious to hear what it would sound like live, because here on this track, that mid-range is really just crowded. There's so much in there. There's these strings, there's the guitars, there's horns sometimes, there's synths, and it just feels like a lot, you know, and it's kind of crowding that mid-range when his vocal could be shining a little bit more in that mid-range, because he's singing at this lower register where all those instruments are dwelling in terms of frequency. This could be a taste thing too, just because like stuff with heavy atmosphere and where the instruments aren't really doing anything besides just being that atmosphere aren't really my thing. I like a more dry mix. I like something where every instrument is playing a very important role in that moment. Because the songwriting is so beautiful. I mean, the songwriting saves that song, in my opinion. When We Are Together is the last song on this record. Let's check it out. Boys and girls.
We were searching in New York for a fancy new apartment.
Love those harmonies coming in on that second half of that verse. It's so cool. It just adds this nice element, kind of builds the excitement in a cool way. I love the violins on this song. They're so expressive and they really bring out that folksy vibe for the song. Also playing just a great line, kind of varying the melody in a cool way.
It's when we are together.
Cool. Great way to finish the album. Really like the string arrangement. Fits nicely. It's just it's a good vibe. It's a cool vibe. And the whole album is a good vibe. I think the A side is so much stronger than that B side, but I mean, the 1975 is known for their kind of like moody, slower songs, so it makes sense that that B side would have a little bit more of that. You kind of have to appease the fans who are into that. Really liked a lot of the arrangement, the orchestration on this album. The ones with stronger orchestration kind of meant more to me. It seemed like there was more thought put into those songs. Yeah, cool though. I liked it. A lot of beautiful pieces, a lot of really great harmonies, really great vocal production. I love the melodies, switching from instruments to vocals and all these different places. Just great, vivid storytelling, really clear visuals, a lot of modern, worldly words, you know. Using things like gaslighting and canceled is a little less common in older songwriting. So it's cool to hear this folksy vibe, which traditionally doesn't use your newer vocabulary. This album's making me more of a 1975 fan for sure. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope it's enhanced your experience in listening to this album in some way, helped you see different things and appreciate different moments. If you liked this video, I'd really appreciate if you liked, comment, shared, subscribed, and checked out my music. I've got it right here. You know, it's in the same vibe. I've also got a video where I react to the song I'm in Love With You. That's it. Catch you on the flip.